Now we get to Korea. I'm just going to skip some of the other leading up to Korea, but they show up at Korea. And one of the reasons that, I got a bunch of books on Korea that I've read over the years. And one of the reasons that this book kind of bubbled to the surface, because there's a guy in it named Captain Chafee, who is, you're going to see just exquisite leadership throughout the little things he does. It just is worth studying, worth us taking a look at. And so they show up in Korea, and this guy, Captain Chafee, he kind of greets him. So back to the book. Captain Chafee, the dog company commander, came a few hundred yards down the trail to meet the Gook train, shaking hands with Alan and me. Now, the Gook train, Gook is a term I'm going to get into a little bit later. It's a term that they use for these Koreans that worked for them, that did all the marching up and down, carrying water and fuel up and down. They call it the Gook train. And they also, when it's time for new people to get brought up to the front lines, they follow up the Gook train. So Captain Chafee comes down to meet him. Back to the book. I'm very pleased to have you both here. I simply wanted to say welcome and get you off to a proper start. Chafee was a Rhode Islander, one of those old Yankee blue bloods with a high color, a large nose, and a splendid mustache. He was very lean, very dark, a handsome man. He didn't seem to have any weapon of any sort, only a kind of alpine stave that he used as he loped, his long legs covering the uneven ground in great strides. Going uphill, he was fast, and coming down, he nearly ran. Later, I would learn he was skull and bones at Yale and had a law practice and political ambitions. He now took us on a guided tour of the company front. So not your typical sort of what you'd expect a Marine Corps company commander to be. Guy's a Yale-y. He's a lawyer, and sounds like he comes from some money. So kind of different than what you imagine. Back to the book. We're a trifle under strength at the moment, Chafee told us. He didn't sound apologetic or dismayed by this, just stating a fact. He took off as he talked, swinging along the top lip of a shallow trench line that followed the ridge, linking large and small bunkers 20 to 50 yards apart. As we moved along the length of the company line, Chafee stopped to talk with each Marine at each bunker. He called each man by name, not Christian names or nicknames as they do in war movies, but the man's proper name. He didn't make introductions, but was businesslike in a cheerful way. At the bunkers, Marines were shifting sandbags, cleaning rifles, cooking rations over small Primus stone stoves, one Marine cutting another's hair. No one seemed fussed by the captain's presence. None of the obsequiousness or make work you saw at Quantico intended to impress. Chafee's questions dealt with enemy activity to the front, the conduct of an ambush sent out the night before, the possibility of getting some mortar fire laid in on a suspicious-looking piece of ground off to the right, and so on. No chat about rations or leave or letters from their girls. They were all eating the same rations. There was no leave. A man's mail was private. Here and there I noticed there were blackened places in the snow where incoming shells had hit. No one mentioned them. The company frontage was astounding. Once again, the school solution was in discard. Dog company, under strength, was covering about 1,000 yards of front, more than a half mile of rough ground.